What's up, y'all? Welcome back to ThrowBLKs, where we review and take a look back at some of our favorite albums from hip-hop history, rock history, pop history, wherever we want to go. I'm J5, here with Josh and MC. What's going on, Josh?
Man, that's a good one. We actually haven't did the pop album yet. We've done a rock album, done a couple of hip-hop albums. A pop one would be a good one.
Yeah, that, like, where would we even go? NSYNC, No Strings Attached?
You know, it's crazy. I don't think I've ever heard that album in total or full. So that could be a good one. When you said pop, I instantly went to just the king of pop.
Michael Jackson.
That could be a good one.
But the thing is, with Michael Jackson albums, they be having stories, though. Like shit that he was going through. Like, he used to be talking about that shit on those albums.
Yeah, and I just think, in general, just the recording of his albums, the way he recorded his albums, like, there's a lot of back history and stories there. So maybe that's a...
But say, where you want to go, Dangerous?
Whew.
I'm an Off the Wall fan, but we, all over.
Off the Wall wasn't like an event album, though. Dangerous was
like the beginning.
Dangerous was an event album.
Dangerous like shit about to get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dangerous is cool. Dangerous is like a scary album like that. I feel like there's a lot of conspiracies attached to that album.
Like Machiavelli.
I don't know why the cover just...
Illuminati.
The cover's scary as fuck. There's some hidden meaning behind that cover for sure.
You know what used to what like bugged me out was the Diamonds and Pearls tape. It was holographic. My mom had it back in the day. The Prince album, Prince and the MPJ.
Oh yeah.
It was holographic, and I never really knew what it was, and like I couldn't really get what it was. But we should do a pop album this year. That'd be dope, or at least a Prince album. Shit.
Yeah, Prince album. I'll have a good time doing that
for sure. But as you guys can see, still on the mobile setup. Shout out to everybody that's hanging in there with us while we do mobile as I get settled and as we start building out what's gonna be our new studio. I think we got a pretty good idea. I sent Mark some ideas I got going. It's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about it for sure.
We're about to have a nice little grass wall. Things gonna look a little earthy in here. Yeah. It's gonna look, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure our reels and our stories look good.
Sure. Grass wall is funny. It's gonna look like an IG restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Grass wall, LED, the neon sign.
Oh man, it's gonna be like what was that old 4 Oak? What was that old shit they used to have at 4 Oak or 1 Oak? It was 1 Oak.
Oh, 1 Oak?
Yeah.
1 Oak. Yeah.
They used to have that.
I thought about 1 Oak the other day and was like, damn. Because you know what's crazy? Because even the 1 Oak in LA, before it was 1 Oak, it was the Key Club. Yeah. And the Key Club was like a pivotal venue in the Los Angeles area. Like that's where I saw Future for the first time. You know, artists I've managed have graced the stage. So for it to be nothing now is just crazy to me.
And they've done nothing. And that's one thing about LA is like when shit gets like gutted out, they don't do nothing with it. It just sits there for years and years and years. They don't do anything with it.
Might be a little cursed, honestly. Yeah. 1 Oak closed because of some incidents.
Yeah, nefarious things. But thank you guys for sticking with us. New episode of Black Print on the way. Of course, that's gonna be a pretty important one. But today we're talking about, and this was gonna be fun because this is like one of our favorite artists. Like at least for me and Josh for sure. Like this is like my favorite artist. This is Josh's favorite artist. Like we love this guy. I've been waiting to do. We were just like we can't believe we haven't done anything about Future yet. But now, of course, we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna get to the bottom of why Future's Honest is so underloved in his discography. I think that when you look back on this album, the stories behind it and how he got there, and even when I re-listen to it, it's a lot more closer than what he does today than people really want to admit. Like he kind of gets into that pocket often.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting album, man. Just the way it's been, looked back on for fans and even him, I think to a certain degree. He doesn't really perform songs from Honest. He doesn't talk about Honest.
Nope.
But, it's a great album to me. I think it's one of those albums where like we're going to get into it, but for me, it was the closing of a chapter for him. Mm-hmm. And I think, relationship content wise, that was when he was still in his like, I love you bag.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
He never made an I love you album ever again. It was just straight. That was his villain origin story, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like that album and just what happened afterwards. So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting to see how it plays out in his catalog. A lot of people won't even put that as a top Future album, but I think a lot of his great songs are on there. Second collaboration with Drake is on there. Mm-hmm. It's some bangers on there, man. I think of it as his blockbuster album. Okay. It's like the album, like, oh, I'm gonna make the album that they want me to make, the label wants me to make, people want me to make. And even just like the sonically how it sounds, like I feel like a lot of the songs on the project could be the soundtrack to a movie. Like
there's some I got some quotes from him about that. They kind of push back on what a lot of people thought Epic made him do. And I think when he talks about the album back then, it really kind of feels like this is what he always wanted to do. So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, we got to go back, of course. And looking for a history on Future, it's a lot of skips. It's a lot of skip arounds. You don't really get a lot of stuff. You read a lot of interviews, but his story I think is interesting because he still maintains a level of ambiguity and mystery surrounding how he got to certain places and where he went. I still feel like there aren't a lot of stories about him from other people. You know what I mean? He still maintains the fact that he is a very, very much a really, really closed off guy. Like he really like kind of keeps things to himself. And you kind of see that in his story as it stands. Born in 1983 in Atlanta, Georgia, of course, Nevadius Damon Wilburn grew up under the name Meathead. Could that have worked as a rap as a rap name in today's society?
Not in the post-Cameron world. Oh no.
It would have been Meathead Pause.
Crazy name. Wild nickname, if that's a nickname even. I can see it though. It's like you got a meaty ass head, meathead. Like I can see someone just making that up. But yeah, I'm glad he dropped that moniker.
But he was a member of the Dungeon family. Of course, we talked about the Dungeon family 2 episodes ago when we talked about Speaker Box Love Below in our really extensive Outkast episode. And again, it kind of converges again through Future, the lineage of the Dungeon family. It was led by his cousin Rico Wade. Rest in peace. He passed away just a couple of weeks ago. Like literally, like the day, I think it was the day before or after We Don't Trust You came out. He passed away.
Right before.
Yeah, so like that's kind of crazy timing. But he was in a collective called The Connect, where he was later named The Future by one of the members of the group. They were supposed to release an album in 2003, but it says on the internet it was scrapped. But if you go on Discogs, you can actually see that it actually came out. But I don't know in what way, shape, or form it came out. It had like Bubba Sparks is on it, Witch Doctor is on it. And the one song that Future is on, his solo song, is called Belly of the Beast. And this song sounds kind of crazy. Like he's like spitting on this shit. And like when you hear it, you hear the Future voice, but it's like he's rapping like they were rapping back then. And it's kind of crazy to hear that shit. I had never heard it before a couple hours ago.
Yeah, no, he a lot of his earlier music was very much in the vein of just traditional Southern, post Dungeon family music. Think about what Bubba Sparks and Killer Mike and that whole kind of collective was kind of making. He was right in line with all that.
And it's insane because the production, you don't really hear him on that type of production. But I think that it's ironic that we bring this up because he goes back to that style on Honest. He kind of touches a lot of styles on Honest. He doesn't stick with one thing, but the one thing that is constant is the eclecticness of him and who he is. I feel like musically on Honest, you really get the real him in a lot of ways and what he was into.
I agree. Yeah. I think he that's why I say it's like the album that they wanted him to make, because I think about like his Dungeon family lineage and like how he kind of abandoned that to go into the trap lane and did all the trap stuff, but like he went back to that. And just a really artistic album. Like that's the way I came away with. That's what I came away with it, or the idea I came away with, is that it's just like a high art level album. Like you don't really get those from Future. No. But this was that. And this might be Future's only concept album, just because it's like him talking about love throughout. Like you don't get that from Future at all. So really interesting album.
He being honest.
I mean, now that you talk about Bubba Sparks and you talk about Dungeon Family, now that I realize, it would have been a real good album to have like a intro or a debut to Future. Remember Got Perp Volume 2? That would have been nice to hear Future on.
Yeah. I mean, by that time, he was already A1. A1 free bands.
that was like Big Boy and like Purple City All Star. So it was like Dungeon Family adjacent.
Yeah. So if you get a chance to listen to Belly of the Beast, all of our listeners, check that out. You're gonna be very like shocked because it's like you can hear him, but it's definitely like he's on some other shit lyrically on that shit. It's actually dope. Future notes that Rico Wade was the mastermind behind his sound in a 2012 interview with the rapper. And even though his career really started to take off when he met and linked up with Rocco, who signed him to A1 Recordings as a solo artist. So he remained underground throughout 2003, 2004, 2005. And he honed his skills until around 2010 when he started to really break out, where he released a series of mixtapes, 1000, Dirty Sprite, and True Story, a trifecta that featured a lot of singles that would actually end up on his debut album, Pluto. Where were you when Dirty Sprite came out?
Oh, I remember exactly. I remember how I got the CDs. Shout out to Reese, man. Reese the Flair. He came to Atlanta with like a stack of CDs. I don't know if he was on the A1 promo team or what. We dropped them off at the hundreds. And I just happened to pick one up. I don't even think I got to it right away, but I just had one. And I'll never forget, I was on Pico and La Brea. Anwar used to like have a shop called the Trap House. Yeah. Or it's called the Trap. And I think they started a brand off of it called the Trap House, but it was called the Trap. Right on Pico and La Brea. And my homie Yuri pulled up, bumping All My Hoes Conceited. And like he had bass in his car and his shit sounded so wild. I was like, what is this? And literally was hooked since then. Like I'll never forget that day. That was an important moment for me. And literally changed my musical life, honestly.
Yeah, I remember, and shout out to A+, because when and I think I said this story before, like me and A+ were cool on the SOHH forums before we actually met. And the way that we met was I had a radio internship and he was already working at the radio in Richmond. So I noticed when I was doing some like work for him or something like that. He was there. He was on SOHH. And I was like, oh, you're on that shit too? I'm like, what's your name? And he said, oh, the young politician. And I said, oh, I forgot my name was on there, but I'm this person. He was like, we were just like, yo, what? And like, honestly, I remember that moment because that's how like all my friendships started. It's off internet shit. And like A+ is kind of like the first person that I had met off the internet and I met in real life. And it was just like, I always think of that shit as like destiny. Cause at that point I had not, I was into a lot of shit, but he was actually getting music from all over because he was in radio, so he was getting all the shit from Atlanta. So one day we were just sitting in there, and whenever he would be there working and I was there, we would just be kicking it and just listening to music. He said, I want you to listen to this guy. His name is Future. And he had already did the MTV Who's Next or Up Next shit. I forgot what it was called when they were interviewing artists and they played one of their songs. And he played Tony Montana. And I said, what the fuck is this? I said, what am I listening to? He was like, no, bro, you really got to trust me here. This guy Future is up next. And I'll always look at what A+ said and I'll be like, yo, this A+ is the guy who got me in the Future because he told me to stick around for Tony Montana. He gave me the tapes. And after that, it was out of there for me. He was one of my favorite artists at that point. And that's how I became a Future fan. That's 2010. That's 10 years ago.
Yeah. No, Tony Montana was an interesting one too, because like that was a True Story, was it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's funny. I've been already a fan, but I remember when Tony Montana dropped, I'm like, why is he rapping in this accent? Like,
I know.
Yeah, but it works so well. And it was like, him telling the story of Tony Montana. So that was definitely an interesting song. And if that was my first Future song, I'll definitely be like, oh,
exactly.
No, yeah.
Like I was like, what? Because the thing is that the way Future's delivery was then, I don't even want to say that he was just kind of like still finding the groove, but he was like more elastic then. Like
experimenting.
Yeah, he was experimenting like in ways that I would say Thug would do, or even Lil Wayne at that point. He was really popular at that point in time as well. There was a lot of experimentation going on. And one thing I always remember Plus saying is like, if you like Wayne, I really feel like he might be the next one coming up after him. And I was like, that was what got me onto it, because I like to think of it as like Lil Wayne was like my favorite rapper, and then Future kind of took over right after that. And then he kind of took the mantle right after that. And I was like, okay, he's taking what Wayne's doing and he's leveling it up. It might not be as, I would say, like off the cuff or like off the top of the dome as Wayne's shit seemed like, but there was definitely an intention to it that Wayne didn't have at that time, because he was just kind of wilding out at that time. So Tony Montana was my introduction, and then from there I listened to 1000. 1000 is a little less polished than Dirty Sprite and True Story. But I think of the three, True Story is my favorite for sure.
Yeah, True Story. I love True Story. I mean, Dirty Sprite just always has a special place in my heart. But True Story is one of the ones. Like, it's a few records on there that I go back to. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Future in his bag.
Yeah.
The thing I loved about him the most early on is that, like, and Anwar was the person who kind of pointed it out to me. He had the rap style and mannerisms of like a reggae artist.
Yeah.
And just like some of the background vocals and just some of the that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, it just had a very reggae feel to it. And that shit was dope because it was like no one in hip hop kind of bringing that flavor per se. And doing that from a trap perspective, shit was just hard, man. Like, it was definitely to the Lil Wayne point, innovative, new, the only person bringing something new to the space. Always thought Future could be more lyrical, but I think he gave the game what it needed. Yeah,
at that time for sure. And we get to 2011, his collaboration with YC, Where Are You, called Racks. That was his first song on Billboard. It peaked at number 42 on Billboard, and that was his first Billboard hit. People don't realize, and we're gonna get to this during this episode, Future's been doing this a long time, and there ain't never been a moment in the last 10 years that he has not had a song on Billboard.
That's great.
Like, he is not. There's never been a time where he has not been a fixture on the charts, and people got to start giving him respect. Because when he came out and when he got popular, and this is around the same time as well, people were saying he was the next T-Pain. That's what people were saying. Like, they were saying he's the next T-Pain.
He batted those down quick.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't no goddamn T-Pain.
That's the thing too. That's why, like, I was already locked in, so all that shit I was just deflecting. Like, y'all crazy. People thought he was like a hook guy. I'm like, hell no. This guy is a fucking album artist.
Yes.
Like, I remember that time. I was like fever pitch for me, like, because 2011. This is 2011, right?
Yeah.
He dropped True Story in 2011. Then he dropped like a free bands tape. Then he dropped
No Mercy.
Free Bricks. Yeah, No Mercy.
No Mercy, was it?
I think No Mercy might have been earlier than that.
A little bit earlier than that? Okay.
Yeah, No Mercy was earlier than that. I just remember it's like Free Bricks, then Streets Calling. Streets Calling is my shit. It was like he was just on niggas' ass around that time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this nigga's on a run.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't hook shit.
Yeah. Like, and again, he, like you just mentioned, in July of 2011, he dropped Free Bricks, which has one of my favorite fucking Future songs ever, Jordan Diddy. That is one of my favorite fucking Future songs.
That's on Free Bricks?
Yeah.
Nah, Jordan Diddy's on Astronaut Status.
Oh wait, no, not Jordan Diddy. Yeah. It was the other shit with Gucci on it was the, hold on.
What, Dead People?
No.
Dead People's hilarious to me.
It was another basketball person name. Fuck. Free. Why is it escaping my head right now? Hold on.
Free Bricks? Let me see.
Yeah, it was Stevie Wonder. That's what it was.
Stevie Wonder, yeah.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. It wasn't basketball nigga. It was Stevie Wonder. It was that. It was Lamborghini.
Yeah.
It was Nasty.
Nasty was my shit.
It was fucking Radical. Not Radical. Fucking Can't Turn Me Down. Bro, so many fucking classics on that fucking album or tape. Is that on streaming, or is it on Gucci's is it under Gucci's name?
On streaming through Gucci.
It's not on streaming. It's not on streaming at all, unfortunately.
What?
Neither the first one or the second one that Gucci was a little bit more upset that got released early. But nah, Free Bricks 1 is not on streaming. You got to get your live mixtapes version or your Dat Piff version and upload it to where you can.
That sucks. That sucks. But
I just remember fucking Muliani's.
Yeah. That was a Gucci Tarantino?
Yeah, Gucci Tarantino.
That was first song. Came out the gate going crazy.
Dog. And actually, low key, Future and Gucci got a lot of chemistry together. You actually don't really hear them on songs ever.
You know, music, they don't make music anymore. After the first Free Bricks, they kind of got into it because Gucci was like, they recorded all that shit in like one night.
Mm-hmm.
And Gucci tried to put it out like the following week, and Future was just like, slow down. Like, I need to pace my shit out, figure shit out. And they fell out after that.
Crazy.
They might have a few songs after that fact, but I remember that was like a big story around the time.
He did Fuck the World with him. That was in like 2014, Trap God, I think. And I don't think it's been anything since. And I think that was Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Free Bigs 2 came out around the time Gucci got out of jail. That's Selling Heron's on there, Die Gangsta's on there.
Yeah.
And that was a project that he was just like, Gucci was like, yeah, let's just throw it out.
Yeah.
He was like, come on, man. I got too many albums out on retail right now that I can just throw shit out like it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, that's funny. That's a funny relationship because it's like they're the two biggest Atlanta artists for sure, as far as just like status and just kind of like influence.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost feels like they're rivals at this point.
Right. Like there is no cross between either of them at this point. And I think that's interesting. They just kind of stay out of each other's way.
Yeah.
But as you bring up though the futuristic era of Atlanta, when you talk about Future in this case, did he immediately excel over people like LA,
Yes.
J Money, things like that? Because my early rendition of my early part of Future before I ended up like listening to full projects was hearing him on like spins tapes, scream tapes. So I would hear like 2-3 records before I ended up listening to a full project. Pretty sure it was True Story before I heard Streets Calling.
But what he did was like, if you listen to what he was doing on Belly of the Beast, that was kind of acoustic almost. Like the drums wasn't even like you know what I mean? Like they sound like it was like somebody actually playing them. You know what I mean? And then he took over the futuristic sound. Like YC Rax is like a futuristic, like that's a futuristic beat. You know what I mean? And he took that. He took because his name is Future. So how could he not? How could he not be the king of the futuristic shit? Like it was LA. Like Dro kind of co-opted it, even though I wouldn't really say he was like part of that futuristic wave. He kind of co-opted it because of who he was next to. But you had like J Money, Young LA. You had Travis Porter to some extent at that time. All of them, but like Future was giving you hooks and songs, and that's what the difference was.
Yeah, no, Future. It's funny that whole futuristic wave. He leapfrogged that shit. Like took their shit because they was like the ones popping around the time he came out. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't have ran with it. I remember he had a few mixtapes with Stewie Rock. Remember Stewie Rock?
Yes, the host, the radio host.
He had a few collaboration mixtapes, and then I remember when I knew that Future like had mastered the fucking futuristic sound was when he did the Molly World tape.
Yeah,
and he did double cups of Molly. Oh my god, that song is a fucking classic. I wish Future performed that at his shows. That's like that's what. It's funny when he came on the last project and he had the mixtape at the end, or not even the mixtape at the end. Fried on We Don't Trust You. I hit Metro immediately. I'm like, bro, this reminds me of futuristic Future. Like, this is it. Like, this is the bag that he was in back in the day that he kind of lost just because he grew.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm glad we brought this up because like Future has went through so many different styles. Like when I even listen to Honest, it's like there's things he do on Honest that he just doesn't do anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's a few, like straight up the ad-lib, he doesn't use that anymore. Like he let Travis Scott take it and run with it, but it's like it's kind of prevalent throughout a few songs there.
I missed it. Yeah. Like I bro. Or the like you don't do that shit no more, man. Like the like that shit get you hype, but like I guess he don't really got to do it no more because a lot of like his music is down tempo now, and a lot of like Pluto and Honest is like up tempo shit. Like he doesn't really like have that that cadence no more. So like I get it, but it's good to like go back. And again, Streets Calling was kind of like the encapsulation of early Future. I think Streets Calling and Astronaut Status were the two right before his debut album where it was like, okay, he's in his bag now. He's in his pocket. He kind of, because again, he's over the futuristic shit. He's doing his own shit at this point. Like the beats are like for him at this point.
Man, Streets Calling, I remember like the fever pitch of that coming out. Like people don't even know Streets Calling leaked.
Yep.
Streets Calling was supposed to be a Gangsta Grillz mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the cover came out, they're promoting it, and then it leaked without the Gangsta Grillz tags, and it was out of here. It just was forgotten, even thought of it being Gangsta Grillz. Like it's the records he had on there. Like this was like, oh, this nigga, that could be an album. Like that's on streaming currently too, I think.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Let me just go through the track list.
Yes,
Make
please.
Myself a Boss. Same damn time.
Classic.
Name, hold, wait.
Classic.
Run it through a check. Power of that P. Never be the same. Gone to the moon. Mm-hmm. Come on, I remember that. I remember that fucking video, bruh. Gone to the moon was crazy at that time. Word to My Mother.
Yes.
With Chubby Baby.
Baby.
If You Knew What It Took. Come on, man. Yep. All fucking classics. This was 16 songs. Practically no skips. Ball Forever is one of my favorite songs off of this.
Oh man!
At that point, I was like, this he's gonna be one of the biggest rappers out. And at that time, people around me were like, no fucking way. They still saw him as kind of just like the hook guy, like you said. Like they were like they weren't taking him serious.
I don't know how you could listen to Never Be the Same and think this guy was ever going to be just the hook guy. It's like that's the record, and that was a precursor to like the Future that everyone loves now. The sad, depressed, like the just throwaway.
I call it poetic.
Poetic, yeah. Let's call it that because that's the Future that like I like to say the hipsters kind of like gravitated towards. Codeine Crazy and you know those records, and like you saw flashes of that.
Yep.
On Streets Calling. That's when he was like, oh shit, he could actually do some outside the box type shit. Yeah, man. Classic fucking project. Power That P. When I heard Power That P, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is
the thing with Power That P is still very much Dungeon Family coded. Like it's very much like some shit that they would have made.
He rapping. Rap. You know, it's funny too. I don't want to ever discredit the influence of Rocco. Because him and Rocco got some classic records together. And, you know, Rocco was just big on the wordplay. And I think that was like a very much he nudged that. Like he was like, yo, like, let's do something like this. And it worked. And like that was one of them ones.
So after the release of Astronaut Status, he released Pluto, April 17th, 2012, bolstered by remastered versions of Tony Montana, which now featured Drake, Go Harder, and Magic, which featured T.I. fresh out of prison, by the way. That was his first song that he got on when he got out of prison. The star-studded album featured a who's who of the biggest stars of the moment, but it was Future's more melodic songs that popped to critics and new listeners. Turn On the Lights peaked at number 50 on Billboard, which was shocking. To anyone that did not know he had the range, that song ended up being the most popular song off of the whole album.
Oh, man.
Shut down 106.
Yeah.
Kelly Rowland remix, like, come on, man.
Never End was also.
That's Never End. Mm-hmm. Turn On Lights is a classic, period. But Never End with Kelly Rowland, like that's another thing about that project too. Like Kelly Rowland, Snoop Dogg, T.I., Drake. It was just like he's just swinging the bat, like he just really up to the plate. And like, yo, I'm about to show y'all, like I'm really one of the ones. Like this ain't no just pie in the sky type shit.
One re-release later, of course, Pluto 3D, which added more songs, which came after Turn On the Lights, was a smash hit on the radio and on Billboard. He released countless other features and mixtapes, including FBG the Movie. I got to get to this because this is considered one of the greatest Gangsta Grillz mixtapes of its time. FBG the Movie is a classic. It's not on streaming. I think I asked one of y'all if y'all had it. I need to get that tape. I don't know if you have it, Mark. Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it. It's in here somewhere.
Can you send me a link to that? I need that. I need that tape. I haven't heard it. Haven't heard it in such a long time. Nigga, Mark McGuire.
Man.
This started off with a Drake feature. Damn.
Yeah.
For real, starts it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wale's on it.
CeeLo.
Wale was on this project. Yeah,
Wale's on it. Wale though.
Was this the debut of Bitches? This was the debut of Bitches Love Me, right? I don't think this was just the single.
Yeah, Birdman intro. Think of how many people are on that and how many of these people are not cool anymore. And it'll make you fucking depressed.
Sad, man.
Open One was on this project.
But bro, the back-to-back of Chosen One and the other
it.
and Killing It, bro.
Yes.
Come on, man. Gotta offend him because I always 1-1. Come on.
That's crazy. I'm looking at the track list now. Was Cisco on this project? I forgot that song.
Yeah.
Cisco.
Yeah, with Tess.
This
is also like this FBG lineup. Like
Slice
some
9.
of you guys are around, some of you guys are not. With Tess, Slice 9, Casino, Mexico Ran. Like he's just a loyal ass guy, man.
Hey, don't try to ex-drug dealer like that. How dare you,
bro? Casino got one of the best songs on the tape.
Killing It was a shit. Killing It set up ex-drug dealer. So yeah, I was full Casino high. Yeah, still in his death.
And again, Casino was honest. So Future starts to talk about his next album in this time, and he released the movie in January 2013. On August 7th, Future. The album was called Future Hendrix before Honest. So he changed the name. Of course, we all know he'll get back to that name a couple years after this. He changes it from Future Hendrix to Honest. And at the time, there were a couple of future things that were supposed to happen. obviously the Mike Will tape, which never happened, and that's a crazy. Do people really know about the story of that? Do people remember that story?
Yeah, it got leaked. Like some
kid.
Yeah,
some kid was playing tracks from it on Snapchat, and he got ran out the studio. And he hopped the fence with no hands, from what I heard.
Really?
he hopped the fence with no hands, and that's why it didn't come out.
So a front dive?
It was
yeah,
no hands. It's got to be a front dive.
It was that. Remember Fire Marshal Future, which was supposed to be all R&B. He was ripping.
Oh, with the cover of the gold. Yeah, the gold. Yeah.
Fire Marshal came out, and it was supposed to be Future Hendrix that was supposed to come out as well. None of them came out. And Future Hendrix would end up being a completely separate project that came out in 2017. But he changed the name to Honest, and I didn't even remember this. He pushed the album back to 2014 from that moment, because I was looking and I was like, oh shit, he did push it back because he was on Drake's tour. Which also people don't talk about the fact that he sued Drake at the time because he took Future off the tour. Then he ended up on the tour again. So I'm like, the era of these two having issues with each other, it goes way back.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, man. We're gonna talk about this in a later episode of the Black Print. I'm not surprised by any of these issues, man. It's just all been festering for a long time, and it's been like peace treaties for the moment, but you ultimately get to where you're at currently in hip hop.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Future. I forgot that this album was pushed back as well. I do remember him like working on it and teasing it, and then like I feel like kind like he went when he did the Kanye record, like they kind of went back to the drawing board, and he did a little bit more of those type of records. But yeah, great fucking album. Like I'm glad that he kind of waited on it, because I think in that time he kind of like found different sounds and pockets to play with, rather than just giving us like what we already had on Pluto and just what he was doing at the moment.
He was hot. He was one of the hottest MCs at the time. He was on Sierra's Body Party at that time. He was on the charts. Like
he was on Sierra's Body, actually.
that as well. He had found love at this time. Yeah. So this was a different Future than what we had seen in 2012. When speaking about the album, he says being melodic, and just why he made he came up with this album. He said being melodic, being more free spirited, being myself, not trying to imitate anyone else, just going into the booth and doing whatever feels good at the moment, capturing the moment and whatever's around me. He says that I feel like a voice for the people. You walking down the street and you see something and you get a chance to actually record what you just seen is beautiful, because like, oh, he was talking about me. That's what art is. Painting that picture. He don't do interviews like this no more.
Oh no, because he ain't saying nothing. That's a funny ass quote. Yeah, but but that is his process. Like if you look at Future's at now, he literally just goes in the booth and raps.
Yeah.
And producers and whoever else is around him makes a song out of that.
Hey, massaging me, he was getting a massage.
Yeah.
Amazing song. And he says after the name change, the album actually changed gears. So he did this interview before, but when he talked to Elle Magazine, which is crazy that he had an interview in Elle Magazine, that's what that Sierra
look.
Yeah, that's the Sierra look. He said, "Honest is the new me. It represents the truth I try to bring to my music. I plan to break the mold with this album so that it will be nothing like you've heard from me or any other artist out. You can either tell me the truth or face the future." That's cold. That's cold. Very hilarious final famous last words, because he was real happy in this interview.
Crazy.
But you did remind me of the pushback though, because I think Honest had been out for at least half a year by the time that the album ended up coming out.
No, Karate Chop.
That Spin State.
Karate Chop.
Until the title track Honest too, because Spins had that on a tape early, like September 2013. Like Honest was on it, Stoner was on it when Thug was cooking up. Early Migos was on it. Zeus was on it. I can't even remember the last time I heard a Zeus record. There was a Pee Wee Longway record on there. So yeah, Honest, the title track itself was out for a good minute before it even came out in April.
And of course, shit ended up being kind of like the street record. You know how everybody had a street record or the radio record? That was the street record for this one, with Move That Dope coming out a little bit closer to the release date on April 22nd, 2014. Let's get into the album, because we got into Future status in the rap game at this point. The production around this album, insane as well. You had Metro booming on it. Who else was on this shit? Yeah, Mike Will made it. They don't really work a lot together
They don't
anymore
work
either.
together at all anymore. I'm like, I think Sunny Digital was on this album too.
Yeah, Sunny Digital was on it. Boy Wonder was on it. DJ R&B. Where are they at? Vinyls. The Runners did the first album, or the first song on the album. A lot of producers on this. I believe The Order was on this, and they did Drunken Love, and I believe they do the Miley Cyrus record on this. But he was working with pop producers. So you want to talk about a pop album? This is Future's pop album. But let's get into the album really quick. First track, Look Ahead. He had debuted this at South by Southwest that year, and I heard it and I said, "Oh, this motherfucker is on his like Kanye shit. He's on his like real artist shit." You hear it and it's like no other Future album opens like this. A Santa Gold sample, like a offbeat kind of drum pattern. Like he's doing some crazy shit on here.
Yeah, no, this shit sounds like the soundtrack to a Michael Mann film. Like it's like just like some very much thematic. It's just like one of the records where you're like, oh shit, like this. To kick off an album like that, it's like how you kick off a police chase in a fucking movie. So it was interesting, man. Like I was pleasantly surprised when I heard it, and even listening to it today, and just going back through it just this last week. Like, man, this is one of the better songs in his catalog that kind of just gets forgotten.
I mean, you want to talk about Dungeon Family? He does kind of spoken word in the first verse. Was it cold nights that made me cold? Do the stress increase my hunger? Tell a lie to make a promise. Fish like a man, fish like a man, nigga. Fish hit, nigga. That's a fucking hit. Come on, man. He was spitting on this shit.
No, that's something that Future doesn't really do often now. Is like kind of like just like really giving us the lyrical shit. Like I feel like we kind of gotta search for that sometimes now with his music. But yeah, this was a hell of a record.
Another line I liked on this. He says, "Bloodline is a lion, fly nigga. Walking when I say walk, it look like a nigga flying." that just shows you visually. He was high, but like visually, he was talking about some like it was visceral in the same way that Lil Wayne was at the time. They always have the metaphor of flying or space or things of that nature, and I think that Future does it. At that time, he did it way more literally. Like now, he'll just say, "I'm a planet." Then he would be like, "I'm literally walking on the planet, and the planet is me." Like when I walk, it looks like I'm flying. And again, like the metaphors in here are like crazy. But what a great intro. I was like, yo, I love this intro. But then you kind of get to the second song on this joint. And you're like, this is old futuristic right here. An R&B t-shirt. Yep. Yeah. You woke up feeling way better than the day you did before. Bro, I miss R&B beats. Come on, man.
Both. I wonder what the fuck they
do. Chorus crazy, got the t-shirt game crazy, going money crazy. yeah.
Man, there was the moments that used to turn up. I think it's pretty fair for people to ask, like, yo, even though, moments like we don't trust you and we still don't trust you is great. I think a lot of people want to tap back into that old 808 Mafia, that R&B, that 2010s Atlanta, and see what Future can put towards that as right now. I think we gave a lot of props on how Fried sound like old late 2000s, early 2010s Future. It's not like it's beyond him right now. It's not like he wouldn't be like, oh well, y'all got to play my old shit and I won't do it. I think he would do it, but tapping back into those producers is gonna be an interesting story.
I think it's just proximity and just like, when you look at Fried, that's Metro Boomin. Metro probably was like, that probably might be an old Future song at this point, honestly. Yeah. Like I don't know, like that. It captures a certain energy that I just think he's not on currently. And when you hear like the newer Future records, you're like, okay, like it's just
that's where he's at.
Yeah, he's just toxic and just dark.
Yeah.
You think it's above him? You think he looks at that and be like, yeah, that was me in my youth. I wouldn't want to do that anymore.
I don't think it's just being above him. I think he's just like he's a real artist, and like I think artists go through phases where they're just like, okay, like I don't do that no more.
First verse, hell yeah, about that lifestyle. Prada's on me right now. Had to pay my lawyer off because nigga, I don't do trial. Come on, man. That's how you starting tracks off. Listen, this is Future kind of reminding you, like, yeah, I can still get into the astronaut status bag because this could have fit perfectly on one of those projects that he released right before Pluto. Production's crazy. And again, you're kind of still like the first song might have had you kind of thrown off. This song, you're like, okay, he's back. Okay, he might have lost a couple people because the big story of this record is that Future lost a lot of his diehards with this album. Like that's the story, and this is something that we haven't kind of mentioned yet. But like a lot of the people underrate this album or they underlove it because he's doing a lot of things that were not like normal at the time. And I think in the South, especially, or people who love Southern music and trap music, this was not what they wanted to hear. And nothing is more indicative of that than our next song, which is Move That Dope, which what a song to put third from the top on your album.
I mean, shit. He's like, y'all got Pharrell. I'm about to put this close to the top. You can't skip this one. And it's funny, man, because Move That Dope, in hindsight, great song. I think it was nominated for a Grammy.
I think so.
Yeah, nominated for a Grammy the year it came out. Good Pusha T verse, honestly. But definitely just,
Does it fit?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just definitely out of the ordinary for Future's catalog. His complete catalog. Like, there's no song that he could put next to this song in his whole catalog, which is crazy to think about.
Which is and it's crazy. You have Casino here in the third verse. I think Casino's verse is insane on this. Like Casino's verse is hilarious.
I think Casino snuck into the studio. Just all around there, and no one knew.
Well, back in the
day, record, hold on.
Back in the day when I was back in Virginia, they would cut his verse out completely. The shit would end after Pusha T's verse. Like they wouldn't.
I want to say there's probably a version with his verse and without his verse.
Yeah. Because it's 4 fucking verses, and Pharrell gets one.
Yeah.
Pharrell could have laid off on this shit. I was like, it's hard. I listened to it for the re-listen. This is a skip. This is the first skip of the album for me. I'm not gonna lie. This is the first skip of the album. Mike will.
Y'all fucking with 20 girls doing yoga naked?
No, even Future didn't seem like he didn't seem into it. He didn't seem into it. Like the verse is probably the weakest one in the whole album.
It's funny. None of the verses on this album are like out of this world, mind blowing. I don't mind Move That Dope, honestly. Like it's not my first skip. My first skip is actually the next song, but
we're gonna.
But yeah, it definitely it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Let's get to the next song. Mike will produce this one as well.
Yeah.
I got shit on me, nigga. My mama ain't raised no hoe. My mama ain't raised no hoe. My niggas ain't rap that dough. My niggas ain't got no hope. No way. I remember listening to this back in the day. This came out around the same time I had visited California for the first time. I would actually be here literally like that next year, like that January. I was listening to it with the girl I was dating at the time, and she was just like, "This is too aggressive for me."
Feel it.
Damn. Sorry.
You know what's crazy? A song like
next record.
She liked the next record.
I forgot what the next record is.
I won the next record.
The thing about this song and this album in general is that it's a lot of like dumbed down Future.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of heavy beats, but like a lot of just like hooks that aren't that dynamic and just repeated type shit. And it's just like, that's why I think a lot of people are kind of like off this album too. But beyond kind of stepping out of his range, a lot of shit just doesn't have a lot of like substance. And
to your point, like, yes, this chorus is pretty bad. Like it's a bad chorus. Didn't age well either. But even like Future's verse, like it's really long, but it's also like not like you go from like Take a Look and then T-shirt, and then you go to this, and it's just like, oh yeah, it almost feels like, and I don't know if you'll agree, it almost feels like the label was just like, hey, Wiz is hot right now, let's put him on this joint, because Wiz was in his like Atlanta phase when this album had come out, and they said put Wiz on this. He's really fucking with Atlanta artists. He's one of the biggest artists out right now. Let's get him on this track, because he is also out of place. So this is 2 songs in a row with like features that seem kind of out of place for a Future album.
Yeah, it seemed like the beat was whooping his ass too. I remember listening. And I'm like, yo, this shit, not it.
Did that era of Mike Will bother you? Because obviously, as he's helping Future, he's also helping Juicy J in his resurgence. He probably makes his most controversial single ever with Miley Cyrus. Drops 23. Did that era of Mike Will just like, all right, maybe we're doing a little too much?
I'm not gonna front. I love Mike, man. I think he brings a certain type of trap to the game. It's a little different than what Metro does. It's different than what Southside and 808 Mafia does. I like this shit. It's just super aggressive, and like you gotta be kind of in the mood for it. And it's funny because it only really gets super aggressive with Future. I think that's just like the bag he always puts Future in.
Yeah.
But at that time, that's where like even Sunny Digital had a lot of those records with Future where it's like, this is just too aggressive. Like, damn, nigga, like I like my Future a little smoother than this. But yeah, so to your point,
Mike Will did shit too, which is coming up later, and that's also
that's it's like, damn, nigga. But that's the thing at the time. That's what they were trying to put on a tape of all aggressive Future shit. And I'm just like, we don't need all this aggression. Like that tape not coming out was actually probably for the best, honestly.
And almost in the word I would say for this and shit, and we'll get to shit later, militaristic is almost how it sounds. It almost sounds like G Unit almost. Like that's what they would rap over, not Future, right?
They were rap rappers, yeah. Honestly, this shit would lend well to the current festival climate and just like how they are Rolling Loud and shit. This is pre-Rolling Loud, honestly. But yeah, no, I wasn't rolling really. I mean, I love Mike and I love a lot of his shit, but some of these records I was kind of like iffy on.
Wiz Khalifa says, fuck is you saying? My niggas all stick to the plan. Now we all getting rich. Fuck is you saying? She thinks it's a snicker because I feed her the dick.
I just hate how he was doing the fuck is you saying part. Like he kept
doing it ever again.
Yeah, he tried to continue that on from the duck. I didn't like it.
I still stick to 28 grand being amazing, even though this 2014 Wiz is not starting off the hottest.
Then we get to one of my favorite Future songs of all time. One of the most quotable Future songs of all time. The title track, Honest, produced by Metro Boomin and DJ Spins. Come on, man. Rockstar, my swag, I'm just honest. Everything exotic, I'm just honest. We got the club on smash.
Honestly, it's like these records between Monster and then Honest, these are the records where you're like, oh yeah, Metro and Future, they are Kobe and Shaq. They got some crazy chemistry going on there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Honest is great, man. Like building an album around this song, I totally get it now. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, I'm looking at the cover right now. Dangerous Coded. I didn't see it till now, but I'm like, okay, I see what you was doing.
Even the single artwork, they don't do single artwork no more either, but even the single artwork, like One Eye.
Yeah.
Illuminati.
Oh no, I'm thinking about one. That was like a trophy.
It was a trophy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chorus, name another nigga hot, I'm just honest. Gold bottles on bottles, I'm just honest. 100,000 on watches, I'm just honest. Coops all on coops, I'm just honest. I tell the truth.
I'm gonna say the falsetto, like that shit, man. He was in his bag, bro.
The video, he's on the piano, playing the piano. It's like this artistic. The video is like a cologne commercial. Like it's like amazing. If you've never seen the Honest video, you've never seen. He don't got the glasses on. When he don't got the glasses on, that's when he really serious. When he takes the glasses off, you don't never see him without the glasses no more.
Shout out to DJ Spins too, man, because he killed that one. Like I know Metro and him co-produced it, but you can hear Spins touch on that. The bounce to it, it just was like something that you're like, oh shit, okay. Yeah. And like it's funny, I've been making beats recently, and I have like a pack of like 808s and shit, but like some spin sounds, I'm like, oh,
Spins pack.
Might as well be. You just hear some of the sounds, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, I need to hear some of your beats, bro.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it in the next episode.
First line on Honest. My piss coming back dirty.
Well, rockstar for life. I'm just being honest.
Got a check on me right now. I'm just being honest. We done turned up in platinum, then we gonna hit Honest.
We gonna hit Onyx.
Ain't no. But I'm coming off a flu, so I can't do it because I'm barely surviving.
The cadences.
Ain't nothing but a dope boy. I'm just being honest. These niggas get shot for being honest. I fucked the whole spot. I'm just being honest. I'm gonna stack it till it rot. I'm just being honest. And I'm driving for coupe. That's 200. Live a rich nigga life. I'm just being honest. Best Future line. One of my favorite lines of his of all time. Real street nigga ain't getting nothing but some pain from it.
Pain from straight up.
That show you where he was in life at that point. Like that show you where he was. Like He ain't getting nothing from this shit but pain. Now he just being honest. Come on, man.
Hell of a record.
Bro, this is one of my favorite Future records, yo. Got crack all of my drawers, I'm just honest. My diamonds ain't got flaws, I'm just honest. These Zoes on site. These Zoes on site, nigga, I'm just honest. We could ball all night, nigga, I'm just honest. You fuck, nigga, y'all don't even know struggle. You don't even know why nigga out here hustling. Got flat screens in the trap spot, I'm honest. Kept it real with all you niggas, I'm just too honest. Like, let's just be real. I kept it real with all you niggas. Took some bitches out the strip club, I'm just honest. Told all the niggas out in the hood, I'm just honest. Little Mexico for life, I'm just honest. I came up shooting dice. I'm just being honest. Why doesn't he perform this? People still remember this song.
Yeah, I perform a lot of his older shit, so it's like I get it at this point. I don't even ask for it.
And then we get to next track. That's a classic. That's probably my one of my favorite tracks. My favorite track on the album is coming up, but then we get to I Won. This was originally Trophy Wife.
Yep.
Back in the day.
That's why he says trophies in the beginning.
Yeah, it leaked that way. What y'all feel about this? Because there's two schools of thought. There's a school of thought of a lot of niggas who got to this song on the album and said, nope, Future's done. there was a lot of niggas that said that.
Well, here's my thing about this song. Of the songs like this, it's my least favorite. Because there's some records on here that have this style.
Yeah.
That I like a lot. I love. But I think this is very much like, okay, like I'm about to make a song with Ye. We about to make a song about our bitches. Like it just had everything around the song was just like a little nasty. Like just it wasn't the right direction.
Yeah.
Not terrible song though. Just not my favorite of Future. I probably would skip this on the album, honestly.
I don't think him and Future have great chemistry. And
they've never made a good song together.
Yeah, they've never made a good song together. There's a lot of lines on here that age so terribly. The Kanye line, you look at Kylie, Kendall, Courtney, and Chloe, all your mama ever made was trophies, and they're just like, ooh. Like, it's hard to listen to now.
I mean, years later, he raps about masturbating to all four of them, so I mean, it's not too far away.
Even just the way, this was a nasty Kanye verse. Because it was all about Kim and just, I made it over NBA and in the field, nigga. Like, it's just like, what? Like,
I forgot about that.
every time my score, it's like the Super Bowl. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Then we get to the next song. And this song's funny. And I guess we can stay on this song for a minute. It's called Never Satisfied. Boy Wonder, Mike Will, Vinyls, Alan Ritter. What happened to Alan Ritter? He was one of my favorite. He just did a lot of co-production or ghost production probably, so that's probably why. But so the story behind Never Satisfied, people saw or heard that Drake had a song on the album, and this is post their little dust up before Would You Like a Tour in 2013. They're going to make another song together. Song comes out. This song is a minute and 54 seconds.
It's funny too because another Mike Will production.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I always be like, where's the rest of the song at? Because it's a good fucking song.
So Future, and you can read between the lines here. He does an interview about this song. And he does, it was from Crown, right? Elliot Wilson's old Crown series. He talks about this with Elliot. And he asks him, why was it so short? And he said, oh, Drake had a full verse. And the actual verse would leak years later of the full song. It's about 3 minutes and 54 seconds. And he said that I took Drake's verse off the song because I didn't like it. And if you read between the lines, you're kind of like at the time, like Drake is Drake at this time, and Future just says I cut his verse. If you read between the lines, I don't honestly feel like they was that cool at that time in that time period at all, and that's probably why he did it. Also, I don't quite remember Drake's verse from it. I know this out there on YouTube. If you go search, you could probably find the full version. But this song, as it stands, it just ends. It just fades out before 2 minutes.
It's all so weird. It's just like, what the fuck? But it's such a good song.
It's a great song.
Yeah, earworm.
I just one of my favorite songs on the record. Like the length of the song, be damned. I think that these two, again, you hear the chemistry between these two. They're just great. I feel like they're two sides of the same coin, but from different areas. I feel like they intersect on the women and the pain and all that stuff, but they really kind of get together as each other's hype men, and you kind of hear that on this record. Like they work really well in a way that I feel like a rap duo that we just really don't have those anymore. they work in that way, and that's why things like What a Time to Be Alive work so well, because again, they're two artists of the same coin, just from different sides, and you really hear it on this record. And it's weird because it comes right after the Kanye record where they have no chemistry to the Drake record where they have more chemistry. So it's hilarious.
Now, a minute 54 might actually work in 2024 if it didn't fade out awkwardly. I mean, an under 2 minute record seems pretty appropriate in these days.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it could work. And again, you hear this and you just get bummed out, man, because you know that it's like this was our moment in time that you just had to be there for. And you get to the next song. I Be You.
Love this record.
This is kind of like his ode to Sierra, no? Like this is a song for her, no?
Definitely an ode to Sierra. His first, I think this might be his first record he's made with Detail, who very nasty individual, but very talented individual. We wouldn't have no Hendrix without Detail.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the ones, man. I love this record. I'm really a fan of this. I like when Future gets into this like R&B, like when he's writing R&B hits. Then you get Drunk in Love for Beyonce. Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this one.
And again, The Order also produced this. The Order produced Drunk in Love. Drunk in Love came from a Future reference track. That's where you get that from. Their work on this leads to the Beyonce record. Really great, kind of like connecting the dots here. From Honest. Honest, again, really branched into a lot of what Future's strengths were and who he would become in the years to follow this. One of my favorite lines is, you sweating, I'm sweating, we overdoing the Mollies, won't let us finish.
Bringing Molly back this summer. I'm about to put this on my Molly playlist.
What?
I'm bringing Molly.
What is track 1 on this Molly playlist? Pride?
No, yeah, now it is. Thank you. No, it's Party Next Door's album. I lose my mind track 1, but the whole album's on there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on the B-sides episode. But yeah, Molly 2024, baby.
B-sides, we'll get a Molly playlist.
This is legit. Like this is legitimately Dungeon Family coded. But this is where you're kind of like, what? Like to me, the sequencing on this album is off. And I think that's my main issue with it. As much as I do like it now, to have Honest, I Won, Never Satisfied, I Be You back to back to back, it's a little bit of overload, especially from the first 4 songs. It just didn't seem like whoever was sequencing this or putting it together knew exactly where to hit in terms of just like where to have the audience listening to.
Because then even the next song, I'm like, oh my God, why do you do it like this?
Exactly. It's like you go from like really like soft and delicate to Covered in Money. Track 9, produced by Sunny Digital. You talk as subliminal. I can't even see me. I'm covered in money. These bitches, these niggas, they all want some.
another just aggressive ass song. The aggression was on 10 here.
That's where the game was, though, Josh. Like Bugatti.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I get it, but it just, for me, that's not when Future's at his best to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, he has a little more finesse than what is conveyed in these songs. And I just wish he kind of, let that come across.
Vince Staples.
When you bring up the game, my bad. When you bring up how that game was, that reminds me of, sounds kind of similar to Covered in Money too. Remember OG Bobby Johnson?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
That was another one of those aggressive type records.
This is where the game was. It was very like, you got to remember the summer before this. It was Hustle Hard, which was the most evil beat you've ever heard of in your life. Like that was the summer before this. And then the next summer, it's like we were still on that. Like that was the sound of it. But I was gonna say, Vince Staples is a big fan of this. My mama see this. She know how to greet me. She know how to keep me. She better not get greedy. That was on Vince Staples. I think it was his first single on the major.
Senorita.
Yep. Yeah, that was his first joint. I'm gonna be real. A lesser song on this album to me. It didn't move me as much as it used to.
This was another skip for me. It's probably on my second skip.
Yeah, like it's, for one, it's long. It's 3 verses. I'm like, why is this 3 verses? The beat is not an earworm. The beat is definitely like hard on the ears. And like when I listen to the album, I'm like, bro, it really was an aggressive album at times. Like it really is all over the place at some point.
Yeah. No, it's another one of the records I could have done without. But yeah, shout out to Sunny Digital, another producer that he doesn't really work with anymore. It's interesting.
Next record is my favorite record on the album, Special, featuring Young Scooter, produced by Southside and TM88. Where is TM88?
I was gonna say another forgotten producer. He's probably just living off what was it? What's the shit with Uzi?
Oh, XO Tour Life.
Life. He's probably just living off those.
He did do T.
Yeah, he did do that.
Wow.
Like,
it's a fat record.
Like, I don't even, does he even like tweet or talk or do anything like that anymore? Like, it's crazy. One thing I want to mention before we get ahead of this, and I forgot to mention it before, a song that's not on this album.
Song.
Real and True.
Oh yeah, damn.
Miley Cyrus record with
Mr. Hudson.
With Mr. Hudson. And was that produced by, I forgot who that was produced by.
I want to say Mike Will, probably.
I think Mike Will did do
It might have been another Mike Will project.
It had Future in that weird silver outfit.
Yep, it is Mike Will. I just took a look at credits.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. That was an odd one, huh? I'm glad he kept it off. I wonder why he kept it off though.
I think it just fly. That's another thing about Mike. I think that's another thing about that 2013, 2014 Mike Will. As much as he's like dominating rap in this case, I think a lot of the things that he was trying to do and bring Miley Cyrus into that rap world was not the easiest to digest. And then maybe Future just didn't want that, even though he didn't have any issues with Miley Cyrus directly. But it was just a little bit too. It might have been a little bit too obvious that he was trying to go into a mainstream area there.
Special, track 10. First line, you keep breaking down in front of me. How that's gonna look to my niggas when they honor me. Bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Jug!
Crazy line.
Oh, great album. Young Scooter. Great verse from Young Scooter. Actually, oh wait, does he have a verse on this?
No.
I just wonder it was just all go to work, nigga.
Yeah, go to work, nigga. Jug. Count up. Black Migo gang. This is a more introspective joint on here. Like, you know, you got a Grammy and young nigga in our purple drink. I'm a motherfucking astronaut and I'm untamed. Made $1 million off of a Metro. Asked the dope game. I booked the show up and rocked the show like some cocaine. Come on, man. He was spit. This is probably like in the song afterwards. It feels like he's trying too hard to be lyrical, and of course I'm giving away what it is. But like this one, he's actually like comfortable, and I felt like what.
I like the verse after this. We'll get to it, but I hear what you're saying. Hey, it's comfortable because this is in his pocket.
Yeah, and the beat
like
is
the
like
acoustic guitar.
Yeah, the guitar. I'm like you like Future over a guitar. Never Miss a Loss. This. What else? There's so many songs where what's the joint that was News or Something. That was another joint. Like anytime he's over a guitar, you know he about to start saying some shit. You don't get the guitar often from him. You might get the guitar on We Still Don't Trust You like twice. Yeah. But when you get that, it's like, okay. It's automatically one of their favorite songs on the album. And this is where that comes in on for me. And Special is one of the ones. It's one of my favorite Future songs, for sure.
Remind me of Fly Shit Only. Damn.
Y'all
really don't like Evil? Y'all really don't like Evil?
Can't do it.
I'm not a big Evil fan.
I can't do the Evil, bro. Can't do the Evil, bro. It was too. Here's the thing with Evil, which is almost turning 10 next year. Shit. DS2 turning 10. We're gonna have to come back and do DS2. That might have to be a special episode. But the thing with Evil is that it was. I think at that point it was too much too soon. It was too much. And Evil did feel like he threw a hard drive on DSPs, and it was a hard drive of songs.
And that was still the, hey guys, got an Apple Music exclusive, about to drop an album.
I'm pretty sure Drake and might have got the deal done or helped them get the deal done. Like that might have just been like something that they was doing because What a Time to Be Alive was. Remember streaming exclusives and how pissed off people were at streaming exclusives?
Yeah, that was a weird time in music. Glad it's over with.
That was kind of like having a PS5 and you could only play the game on PS5 for 3 months before it came to Xbox or some shit like that. Like that was a crazy time.
And Blonde was the last straw. And niggas were like, "What the fuck?" They had to write something up. Like 2 weeks later, and streaming exclusive were done. I was like, "Wow, Frank's got some power."
Yeah, Lucian Grange said, "Hell no, no more of that." So, the next song Ben's Friends, Wachitola, featuring Andre 3000. This was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Because anytime Andre 3000 is on a song, it's a big deal. But I think a lot of people didn't connect the dots as to like why this might not have been such a big deal. Why it could have just happened if Future just picked up the phone. I think Future even says a line on one of his songs like he forgot Andre 3000's phone number or some shit like that. Like he lost his phone number or some shit like that. Like he could have just called him at any time. Andre 3000's on this song. I'm gonna be real, man. I don't like it.
Not digging it.
That's
taking a knee.
I think it's one of it's funny. It's one of his more. I told you before. This is the artistic album, and I think this is one of his best, like, of that phase of his career. Like even just like the little parts of it, like these calls don't mean shit. These hoes don't mean shit. These hoes don't. Oh, that shit. Like, you should don't do that. Like he kind of got out of his box and really made a song. Like whenever you seen Future doing that type of shit. So it was just interesting to me. And I like his verse on here. I like what do you say? What the fuck does he say at the end of this verse? One of my favorite lines in this shit. Let's have a heart to heart, drink wine, make art. That's a bar. That's a bar.
But that's where he was. You know what I'm saying? Like in my heart of hearts, sometimes I almost wish that he goes back to this. I mean, I wish he would. I listen to the albums now, and he gives me what I want to listen to for a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gives me what I want to listen to for a couple weeks. But I think that we hit for Future, we hit the ceiling, and I think that like he hit the ceiling on where he's at, and I would love to see him open another door. You know what I mean? And really like the line you just said, let's have a heart to heart, drink wine, make art. Like that's a great line. What does grown up Future do? Because even when it's like grown up songs, like We Still Don't Trust You, it's still very much like tinged with like some ignorant shit in it.
Oh, it's toxic and ignorant all the way through. I think he reached the ceiling with his lifestyle. It's like his life. He's not trying new things, and I correlate that directly to the relationship shit.
Mm-hmm.
When you was with Sierra, you was starting a family. Sierra's in a different world. She's from Atlanta, but she plays in this Hollywood world, and she's taking you places. She's the reason why you're doing Elle magazine now. You single, you toxic, you fucking with these strippers, you fucking with these young hoes, and it's the same rinse and repeat type shit. You doing drugs, you breaking hearts. It's not anything new. You're on a yacht, I think it's very much content just isn't evolving. But the music is still coming at a high clip, and it's still like really good.
Andre 3000's verse, and I think Future, like I said earlier, he tried to reflect what Andre was saying. Like he was trying to like catch up to what he's saying, because Andre 3000's verse is really kind of like letting go of ego, letting go of possessions, letting go of all of these things. And you sat through 12 songs at this point of Future glorifying these exact things that you're saying that now don't matter. It kind of brings up it poses the questions of like who sequenced this and like what was the, you know what I'm saying? Like just, it feels like this is on another album where if you would have just kept the love songs, this would have matched. Like this is like his Outkast album. This song's produced by Mr. DJ and Organized Noise. And I think this is the last time he's ever been on any production from these people ever again. And it's just like, it just doesn't fit. Like, and I think like as much as I like it, these all seem like ideas that fit better elsewhere that are just put on one album. And I think that's why it gets so misunderstood, even though it's so great, if that makes sense.
No, that's a fair assessment. I think, the whole album feels like that. Like the whole album feels like it could be 3 different ideas of an album. I'm fine with that. I think this is very much fits next to like a Move That Dope, like very much a traditional rap song, which he doesn't really make.
Right.
But I love Ben's Friends. I'm a fan of the record for sure.
And then we get to the final song. This album's really short, by the way. The final song on the regular version of the album. We'll get to the bonus tracks really quick after this. Blood, Sweat, Tears. Gotta be like this is church right here. This is Future in the
Black
pulpit.
national anthem.
Yeah, bro. This song is amazing.
Oh,
everyone. I wish everyone.
I wish everyone.
I was like, yeah, this is one of them heavy hitters.
Here's my thing. You cut out Move That Dope. You cut out My Mama. You cut out
Cover the Money.
Cut out Cover the Money. You can leave Special.
Yeah.
You got a solid little joint where the kind of the like not inaccuracies, but the, you know what I mean, like the slip ups they make a lot less, you know, of a issue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you cut a lot of these songs and you end with Blood, Sweat, Tears, I don't see anyone having a problem with it if Future's just saying, hey, this is where I'm going with it right now. You know what I mean?
And it sticks with the title.
And it sticks with the title. He's being honest. Like there are moments of honesty here. I think that there were what also happened between the albums is that Future got really popular. He got extremely popular for doing one thing, and then they wanted him to continue to do that thing over and over again, which is what he has continued to do for the last 10 years.
Well, and that's why I say this is like the album that the label wanted him to make, because it's like, hey, you got these ideas and these things that are a little more closer to Pluto, but we need something that can sell this album.
Right.
And that's kind of get these random songs. Like even the song like the Andre shit is like that around that time was like, oh, he's Dungeon Family. Like, well, where's the Dungeon Family record? Where's the connection? And it's like, oh, we got one. Here it is. And it's like trying to fit that into the box when it's like it doesn't really fit all the way.
Yeah, and I mean even his look and style and fashion of all of that didn't fit Dungeon Family at all anymore. Like it just he was his own entity at that point. This is where the album ends if you just got it from like Walmart or something. But if you got it from, I guess, like Target or you on streaming, these extra songs would be there. The extra disc has a big Rube interlude on it, which is, I'm just like, yo, he's really trying to let niggas know he's Dungeon Family. R.I.P. Big Rube, man. Legendary, like spoken word poet, like great guy. And again, it makes you feel almost like home when he's on a record. That voice is great. Like I remember when I heard him on ATL, the movie.
Yep.
Toward the end, they're just like, yo, like they really got it down. It's in terms of what real Atlanta is. But right after that, you get the Side Effects, which Mark, you were talking about before this. But this song is actually kind of like sad because like when you think of it in the context of like Sierra, like you're just like, yo, this song is sad as fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know it was. Well, at first I was like, I don't remember it being one of the records that I liked a lot at the time, but I look back, I'm like, yo, I'm not mad at this record. This is actually a pretty decent, and it's not too popish that it's like, all right, Future, you're doing a little bit too much. But it's just in that right area of just like, wow, this is a nice little record.
Yeah, detail.
Another detail record.
Mm-hmm.
So you owe me that. Like this is hit detail in Future, bro. Like I fucking wish they could still make music together.
Yeah. Where is Detail now? And I want to get to the allegations, but he's in prison now, right?
He might still be. If he ain't in prison, he's off the face of the musical earth.
Annexed from music, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean, there's no word on where he's at.
Nah, he ain't been on Twitter, Instagram, nothing. He's done for.
Yeah. Well. Yep. Oh, she won. Oh, the woman won the lawsuit against him, $15 million. So that's where he's at. Gone. Gone. I'll Be Yours. Another detail. Yeah, another detail record. These seem like they were like demos, but I almost feel like these records could have been on the album in replacing some of the heavier songs on it. Honestly, right?
I always felt like that. I feel like, to your point, I feel like all these detail records came in like one session. It's like, hey, we writing for Beyonce, let's make some records. And after they were finishing this album, like, oh, we got some leftover shit that didn't make the album or Beyonce's project. Where can we put these? And they're just great songs, great pop songs. Like I wish Future would get back in that bag. Like, why aren't you writing for people no more? Like, one of your biggest songs is Drunk in Love. Like, and I know he didn't get like the proper credit for that record, but shit, imagine Future writing for Camila Cabello.
Rihanna.
Imagine Future writing for Normani. I mean, you got Rihanna doesn't make music anymore. I can't.
I mean, I'm saying
right
he wrote for Rihanna. My bad. I meant to say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. But imagine these pop stars who are trying to lean into their urban leaning shit. Yeah. Imagine if they went to Future for that. He'd be a whole different artist, a whole different tier of a career right now.
He still got it.
Yeah.
Like he still can do it. You know what I mean? Like it's just I don't know why he doesn't take that pocket Next song.
And to your point, it's got to be hard. I mean, I'm just saying to your point, it's got to be hard where like you have a year like the year prior where you have mixtapes just flooding live mixtapes. Where you have No Sleep. You dropping records like Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
You got records on GTA like How It Was.
Club on Smash.
You got Blackwood. Club on Smash. You got stuff like Black Woodstock. You got Rehab on there. Huge rap records. You got X-Rated even dropping projects. You got Substitute Everything on there. So there's so many different pockets of like different rap from Future that you're just like, okay, now the album's coming. What can we actually try and mix and maneuver into what we can make out of this album? We ended up getting what we got, but you know, rap wise, there's just so much that came out from 2013 that's hard to try and polish it down in 2014.
And speaking of 2013, the next song is a song from 2013. How Can I Not? Featuring Young Scooter and Metro Boomin produced track. That was on one of these fucking mixtapes that came out in between.
I want to say that was No Sleep.
No, it wasn't on the movie?
Was it on the movie?
I think it was on the movie.
Yeah, it was on the movie.
How can I not? Nah, I was on No Sleep.
I was on No Sleep. Oh, yeah. It was on No Sleep because No Sleep had come out literally like I think it came out in like March. So it was
like October, because October was like around the time that the Shit remix was on. Shit remix
was on it,
Drake responded and all that. So that was like during the fall of 2013.
Yeah, and then How Can I Not is a great track, but again, like, does it fit on this album? Not really. Like, it could have stayed where it was. Then you get Shit, which
Shit is amazing to me. I'm sorry. If there's anybody that's Shit Hive, I have Shit Hive.
It is Shit Hive is crazy.
Hilarious.
It is very much a song that's a product of its fucking time. Because if you go back and listen to this right now, you'll be like, Future he made it after this? Like, he was actually popular after this? Like, oh yeah, he made it. He had 10 years. He had 9 more years of career after this song. Because you were going.
Let me see you prove it.
And I said it earlier, militaristic. This beat sounds like a militaristic beat. Interesting he didn't get the Drake version on it. I don't know if that, I guess it just never got clear. That was, if you want to talk about irony, that's really kind of where all this shit kind of popped off. Like, this is where that's where Drake's first shots at Kendrick started. He said, "You sold out your old city. What was it? Like, it was something about selling out a city, selling out in LA or something like that. Like, that's where that shit started. And then we get to where we're at today with everything, but he doesn't have that verse on this record. Or that verse on this. And then the whole album ends with the Karate Chop remix with Lil Wayne, which has versions of this that have the Emmett Till line, and then versions of this that don't have the Emmett Till line. And the Emmett Till part of this song is probably what ruined this song from being viable as a single. And there were like 2 songs with Future around this time that had a problematic lyric that stopped the actual song from being as popular that it could. Because You Ain't Know was in 2013, and the Rick Ross line stopped that. Yep. That song was on track to it was a minor hit, but with the Rick Ross verse and where he was at that point, that song would have been a bigger hit if he had not said that line. And then Lil Wayne says the fucking, well, for one, they took Casino off of it.
Worst decision.
Casino would have never said the Emmett Till line. And then Lil Wayne says the Emmett Till line. This starts activists. Like, this was a huge deal at the time.
Big thing.
Because Wayne says, beat the pussy up like Emmett Till. I think you can still hear this version on YouTube somewhere. I haven't heard this version in a long time. But I
hate how they mixed it too. They should just like Emmett Till, but they like kind of mixed it, so it's like you hear it's like Emmett. It does some weird shit.
In reverse, beat the pussy up like.
It's like, what the fuck?
Well, also Wayne, what were you thinking?
That can't be like a top. That might not even be top 50 worst wildest Wayne line.
There's some bad lines out there.
There's nothing worse than the Emmett Till line, y'all.
I'm trying to think of a recent memory, because there's some recent memory shit that's like, ugh, that's cringy.
We did Carter 4, and there was nothing on Carter 4 that was this crazy.
I mean, on Carter 4, you said, "Nigga, I'm straight, my girl up." So I don't know.
It's not. It's not like a child in the civil rights era getting murdered. And that's how he's gonna beat the, you know what I mean? Like, come on. How do you even think of those two things? Yeah, like you can't even think of those two things. But that wraps up Honest. Of course, later on in the year, Future and Sierra will call off their engagement in August of the same year, a couple of months after, which really kind of starts a spiral of Future's kind of like worst period, publicly at least, in the public eye ever, of everyone saying, yo, you cheated. And that was the story. He does disappear. And then around September 2014, a couple fucking tweets sets off the next phase of his career. And on October 31st, 2014, Future will release Monster. And I don't know how we'll talk about this, but I will say that I do want to talk about these 3 tapes at the end of this year. Because I think that Monster, 56 Nights, and Beast Mode were the convergence point of where Southern rap went, where music went, and just where the game went at that time. These are like the 3 most important mixtapes of the 2010s, in my opinion. Like they're
career-defining projects.
Yeah,
literally changed the trajectory of what Future's career was. Like he was already on the up and up. Honest kind of made him plateau a little bit, and he came back and just like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that like there's a 3 mixtape run where you had like Wayne, where it was like 10 mixtapes, and like it. Like he kind of did what they with Wayne, 50, Cameron. What he did what all they did in less time. Because you got to think about it. As far as career trajectory, it's the same concept. Mm-hmm. Wayne was Wayne, little baby Wayne doing his shit. Then he did the squad up shit. Then that went into what was the first Gangsta Girls he did? Dedication 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, that's where Wayne started to skyrocket. But it took a few mixtapes. Like it took like 5 or 6. Cam run the same way. Cam was Cam, SDE Cam. Then he started doing the Diplomat shit. And then his career just skyrocketed. 50, same way. Sonic Columbia. That shit got shelved. Then he did the mixtape and he's out of here. So like it's a very familiar concept, but I think it might be a lost concept now. Like Future might be the last of our lineage to do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, career defining, man. Like it literally changed everything about him for him. And special time, man. Like I remember Monster. I remember 56 Nights. Like I have the craziest memories. That was a Molly record for me too. I remember listening to 50. I think that was 2015?
Yep.
Yeah.
We listened to that on repeat, 2015 Coachella. I remember driving that. That was when Drake and The Weeknd did Coachella the same year.
Yeah.
And played that shit on repeat driving down there.
Again, we'll never see anything like this, but you have to talk about, you can't get to those albums without talking about kind of the fall. And I think this is kind of the beginning of it, because people definitely wrote off, like it's almost Nas like the way they wrote off Future after this album, after like Nostradamus came out and everyone was like, okay, it's over for him. That's how people, and Future was even in a shiny suit. So like at the end of the day, this is how they wrote him off. And later this year, hopefully we'll be able to talk to you guys about how you kind of rose from the ashes and came back with Monster. So that was Future's Honest 10-year anniversary of it. Thank you guys for listening to this. We'll be back in a week with the newest episode of the Black Print. And we'll be running through the last 7 days. It almost feels like it was 14, but it was only been 7 of life.
We might get some more shit before we record. So,
oh really?
Tuned. I don't know. We'll see.
Mother's Day's on Sunday.
I don't have the info, but you know.
Well, I will say right now, I have not engaged in any of it. So we'll see. But thank you guys for listening. This has been a fantastic walk through one of our favorite artists ever in Future Hendrix, and but I hope you guys like it. So for next time, we'll tell you guys about that in a couple weeks as well. We'll figure out what we're going to do next. But thank you guys for listening to ThrowBLKs. For Josh and MC, I'm J5, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.